There's a lot of stuff that has gone under the bridge here that I'm not just going to ignore when we get together as a family.
It was a lot worse than just a phone call for me.
I find myself, metaphorically speaking, banging my head against the wall week after week when I'm watching Sister Wives out of frustration. Sometimes I find myself literally yelling at my TV because we're watching Kody spiral, devolve, and unravel everything that he once claimed to hold sacred. I really don't understand it. It's not even that parents shouldn't treat their kids the way Kody treats his non-Robyn kids, because of course he shouldn't treat his kids that way, but human beings shouldn't treat other human beings the way Kody is treating members of his own family. I don't think that there is a perfect parent walking around this earth. I know that I certainly am not a perfect parent. But it's like listening and receiving the way your words and actions make other people feel and then correcting that behavior. It's what grown-ups do. It's what decent human beings do. Kody continually doubles down on his righteous indignation. He is right no matter what, no matter the cost. And it will eventually cost him everything. Gabe's heartbreak this episode was palpable and gut-wrenching. Let's get into today's video. Hey everybody, what's up? It's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. I heard on a reality show once the saying, you don't want to be right, you just want to be happy. And that really stuck with me as I matured throughout my mid to late 20s. It definitely wasn't an easy lesson for me to learn, but it is how I try my best to live my life now. Just realizing that everyone's viewpoint on life is formed by their own life experiences and that someone doesn't need to be wrong in order for you to be right. It takes time, compassion, and a willingness to learn. Kody's approach to life will just lead to a sad, lonely existence, and not only for himself, but for any of the people in his orbit that genuinely yearn for his time and attention. I often find myself wondering if therapist Nancy from the Vegas days watches the show now. That poor lady probably feels like she has wasted hours of her life. I think Kody's behavior for most of his life, and definitely for the majority of the early seasons of this show, have really been performative. Acting in a way that you think people want to see you as or that they might find palatable. You know, maybe I might not choose to live in plural marriage, but these guys seem to have it together, so hey, to each their own. I think we're seeing the real Kody now. Zero tolerance for any opinion that conflicts with his own. He's right, and if you don't agree with him, he is not afraid to burn that bridge no matter how close you are to him. If you don't fall in line, you're out. Episode 13 of season 17 starts out with Janelle and Kody meeting up for lunch, and I really feel like Kody is laying the foundation here to push Janelle out the way he pushed Christine out. Janelle is understandably confused. And I talked about this in a previous video because all of the things that Kody is lambasting her for now are things he once admired and praised her for. She once was independent and low maintenance. Now she's aloof and inconsiderate. Janelle has not changed, but Kody's perception of her has done a complete 180. It's time once again to discuss holiday plans, and we all remember how well that went in season 16.
And I'm not telling you how to live your life anymore. You guys are all independent women. You can do whatever you want. I would ask you seriously to consider a much bigger picture. That's all I've got to say about that. I hope everybody enjoys their Thanksgiving.
This conversation is on track to head in the same direction. Kody is making it abundantly clear to Janelle that her boys are not welcome in the McMansion unless they grovel for forgiveness from Robyn and himself.
There's a lot of stuff that has gone under the bridge here that I'm not just going to ignore when we get together as a family. Because I'm not going to just sit and have everybody over and act like everything's peachy and fine without working those things out. Does that make sense? I'm not going to have them come to my house for Thanksgiving if they've got animosity towards me or somebody that is connected to me. Maybe Garrison should try and reach out to me and sort of make amends. No, it's not just about me. They started actually putting Robyn in their crosshairs, and the text started going that direction. There's been a lot of talking about certain people in the family.
I received some texts and some phone calls from Gabe and Garrison, basically blaming me for what was going on with the family.
And just an aside, I could hardly focus on the discussion being had because I was so preoccupied by this hot water lemon concoction that Kody was making. I mean, he was really aggressively squeezing these lemons into his water. And hey, I love a hot cup of water when I don't feel well, but I just can't imagine that many lemons tasting good in that water. Anyways, I digress. Janelle is understandably frustrated. She has stated time and time again that she is always going to choose her kids. I mean, shit, she'll even choose her dogs over Kody. It's really uncomfortable for her to sit there and listen to Kody just trash their kids together, especially when Janelle knows this is all about making life the most comfy for Robyn. At this point, Garrison has already called Kody and cut ties with him. In return, Kody said Gabe had a narcissistic attitude, which was quite ironic in my opinion. I think Kody doth projects too much. Janelle explained why her boys are frustrated with Kody, and really, COVID was just the tip of the iceberg.
Garrison calls me up with his narcissistic attitude and goes, "This is your fault, and I'm never going to be around you again."
He's telling his dad, I'm done. I'm done with you. Because I don't like how I think my mom is being treated, how we're being treated at this house.
The issue is, and has always been, Kody's blatant preferential treatment of Robyn and her kids. And this goes back to the Vegas days, to when Robyn came into the family. And Kody said something really ridiculous when it came to everyone's treatment of when Robyn came into the family.
I have 3 wives before I even have 1 child. When Robyn comes in the family, she gets time with me and she gets attention to her children. I think that was just too much for some of them. I think they were just jealous. There's this unwillingness for some of the family to accept other members of the family.
Kody says that he had 3 wives before any of his kids were born, so everyone needs to be a little bit understanding when it comes to him giving Robyn one-on-one attention. I don't even know where to begin with that. First of all, Kody and Meri were married in 1990. He and Janelle were married in 1993. And he and Christine were married in 1994. Specifically, he and Christine were married in March of 1994, and Logan, the firstborn child, was born in May of 1994. So it's not like they had all of this time before kids. I mean, Christine only had a couple months. I am confident that none of these women got the kind of one-on-one attention that Kody has shown Robyn, so please just spare us, Kody. Additionally, circumstances are just fundamentally different now. You cannot tell your children, your 13 children, to just suck it up and stop being all peanut butter and jealous because you want to spend all your time with Robyn. You have a duty and a responsibility to those 13 other kids that existed before Robyn came into the family. You don't get to tell them to stop being jealous. You step your shit up as a parent. I mean, my goodness. So later on in this episode, which is titled Coronapocalypse, Robyn's household contracts COVID. For sake of the timeline, this puts us in October of 2021. Gabe tells us that Kody actually called him up to see how COVID went for him when he got it back in January, and This is just so heartbreaking.
I hadn't slept for 3 days. I had fevers and aches and pains. I didn't even know what day it was.
October rolls around, specifically October 11th, my birthday, and Dad calls me. We have a small discussion about how bad my COVID was. I didn't remind him that it was my birthday because I wanted to see if he remembered, and he didn't. And so to him, it was just a phone call, just asking me about COVID.
It was a lot worse than just a phone call for me. But yeah, a couple hours after that, he tried to call me back, tell me happy birthday and make up for it. And that's the last time I ever talked to my dad.
Kody calls Gabe on his birthday, and this conversation was always intended to just be about Kody. His reason for calling was completely self-serving. It wasn't like he forgot Gabe's birthday and he was calling to check in and see how everything's going. That would have sucked in and of itself, but I'm sure that Gabe would have cut him some slack. I mean, Gabe has cut him a lot of slack over the years. But no, this call was research-based for Kody. He needs to know how someone with 50% of his DNA has fared having COVID, so he can more or less gauge how it will go for himself. There are so many ways to remind oneself of important dates that there really is no excuse for missing your child's birthday in this modern era. It really comes down to Kody not being willing to put in the most basic, minimal effort to extend a birthday greeting to his own children. And in my opinion, that's just extremely pathetic. It really speaks volumes to where Kody is lacking when it comes to his priorities and his character. The gut-wrenching thing is, after the fact, it really doesn't matter what you say to Gabe. Gabe is a logical person, and he knows that this is not a reflection of anything that he did wrong. This is 100% his dad's fault, but that really doesn't matter very much because it doesn't change the fact that one of the people that you typically look forward to getting a birthday greeting from the most couldn't even be bothered to remember it. And that cuts really deep. I don't know when Gabe shot this couch interview, but according to what he says in that interview, this was the last conversation he had with his dad. And that conversation took place in October of 2021. So it's been over a year now. From what we see on social media, like the seating arrangement at Logan's wedding, it really doesn't seem like the relationships between Kody and his non-Robyn family members has gotten any better. I guess we will see what season 18 has in store. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Kody really is his own worst enemy. And eventually he is going to find himself alone in his principles. He and Robyn have both mentioned the toll that this is taking on their marriage. And I think that Robyn, like any other person, has a breaking point. So I really don't know if their marriage is going to survive all of this. Let me know your thoughts on episode 13 down in the comments. As usual, I will be going live tonight on my YouTube channel at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, and we will have a full-on discussion about all things Season 17, Episode 13, Coronapocalypse. So I hope to see you guys there. Let me know your thoughts on this video down in the comments. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at realiteasquad, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care. Have a good one. Much love.